Hello, it's Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot, and welcome to another Mod with me, where we create a deep and meaningful bond with the cards through creative expression and deck modification. Today I am going to be edging the Animal Kin Oracle. So this is a fantastic new oracle that I have gotten, and you will have just seen a walkthrough of it and my first impressions. This deck has the most gorgeous back, and it's one of the things I fell in love with about this deck, and the deck itself is super colorful. So I decided that I would edge it in multiple colors. Now, because I'm doing all of these different colors, and I'll be doing them according to the card fronts, I did want to make sure that my color scheme was still going to match the back of my cards. So don't mind this here, this is for another project. So I did just a test on all of these colors just to make sure that they did indeed look okay with the backs, because I do want it to be cohesive front to back. So, and I think they look great, so I just wanted to double check that. The other thing I did do is I pulled out a card from the deck, and I did a test on it. So there were no extra cards in this deck, and this deck does have this matte cardstock, and I don't think edged one of these decks yet. One of these Hay House decks with these really nice matte cardstock. So I wanted to just do a test to make sure that my Crayola wasn't going to do anything funky with the artwork or with the card. That it wasn't going to bleed or anything like that. Now, what I did was I pulled out the one card that if I totally screwed it up, I could live without it in the deck. If this was a tarot, that's not really something that you can do, because if you take one card out of the tarot, is it really a tarot anymore? It would be missing one of its, key 78 cards. But with an oracle, I feel that it's pretty safe to do that. I do have some oracles that I have pulled cards out of because they don't resonate with me or for various reasons. So because this is the one card, the one animal in this whole deck that doesn't actually exist, whereas these are all real animals found in real nature, I pulled this one out to do my test on because I thought, well, if I mess it up, then I'm okay with this card not being in the deck, and I could always use it for something else. So let's get started. So I did a couple of cards here. I have a pile of some blacks and some purples and some blues. And I decided that rather than doing it like I was and pulling a card and grabbing a marker, I used this little sheet and I divided the cards up all by the colors that I want to use. So this just makes the process a little bit easier. That's generally how I do it. I don't know why I didn't do that right from the get-go. Maybe because I don't think I've ever used this many colors on one deck before, but anyway, so that's what I've decided to do, is just do the cards by color, and that will make it a little bit easier for me to manage, hopefully. I did end up with quite a few blacks because because there's no oranges or reds in the back of these cards. I decided not to include any oranges or reds, even though there are quite a few card fronts that have orange and red, but these cards all have a pretty good amount of black in them too, so I think black will work really well for these cards and will match with the backs better than, say, an orange or a red would. So that's kind of where I'm at through this process. I'm going to do a couple of stacks of cards, and then we'll check in and see how the deck's progressing. Okay, let's do a quick check-in because I have edged all of these in their various colors. I have not done the black ones yet so that we have some blank cards to compare to. So I've done all of the pink ones. You can see here the pink. And I have done the purple and the blue, move those over here. And the green, and this magenta color, and another green, so more of a lime green. So now we have all of these beautiful colors done. So I did also want to mention too that with the blue, so I had a subscriber that had asked a question about edging a deck with a blue Crayola and that the blue was coming off. Now I did find that using the blue, this blue, and I did do one card in a dark blue, but I decided I didn't like that. I wanted the lighter color. With the blue, I found that you kind of need to wipe it off after you put it on just to get that extra residue off, because it does. I just took it like this after I edged the blue ones, because when I tested this card, this was my test card. When I did this test card, I did notice that the blue was coming off even a couple hours afterwards, but if I just wiped it off, then that stopped it. And doing these, just wiping them as I went, seems to have curtailed that. Now, so far, I've only had that issue with the blue markers, and I haven't had a problem with any of the other colors coming off. So that seems to work really well, just wiping the blue off as you go. I do have a couple of the blacks done, and I do think that I might have to do a second coat on the black just to get it to cover, but the colors have come out nicely. So let's just go ahead and mix them together a little bit. Still getting some chunk in there. Throw a couple of these black ones in here, which do need to be re-edged, but so now you can see here is the colored version, and here is just the plain as it came. And I think the colors look really cool, and they look really great with the back. So you can see here. So I think that looks really good. So I'm going to finish up the black ones, and then we'll take a look at the whole deck done. Okay, so I've finished all of the cards, and they are all in these beautiful colors. So here is the back again, and then all of the rainbow colored sides. So you can see that those colors work really well with the backs, and of course they also, for the most part, match the fronts, which I think is just really beautiful. Thank you for joining me for this modification of the Animal Kin Oracle. I hope that you enjoyed this process and will join me again soon for more creative tarot for an inspired life.